So we're starting over.
Welcome to the Couch on Fire podcast, where everything's on fire and technical difficulties abound.
Sometimes I wish I had like a lighter every time we introduce like.
Yeah. So, as we were saying,
Yeah. How was your weekend?
Crystal was in town. John Wisniewski was in town. And my grandma died.
And well, I'm sorry to hear that. And then
Again.
Yes, again. Yeah. How that's crazy though. Like, I mean, maybe it's crazy for someone like me. Like, I was really close to my grandparents because they raised me. But how close we were to your grandmother?
I wasn't. I wasn't close with grandma at either of my grandparents at all, or grandmothers at all.
Yeah.
My parents were not good people for any of various reasons, so I didn't interact with them that much. And here, after I got out of the enlistment, out of military service, I came home and Grandpa was dead by then. That had happened since before I enlisted, but Grandma tried actually entering our lives and stuff, and it felt kind of forced. So
Okay.
I just kind of let it go. And it wasn't a big deal to me. I can understand how that comes across as shitty, but there was I wasn't wanting for family, so for me to add new family like that was unnecessary. So I didn't enter the repertoire, and I'm one of those weird people that firmly believes in the right to suicide, and her behavior since I got out of the military, in her dealing with these homes and the nurses and her health and all these various things put together, all of her actions said, I'm trying to commit suicide. And I said, I'm just not trying to participate in that. That's,
Man.
you can do you. Don't let me stand in the way of your good time here. And I just didn't get involved. And I'm not bothered by that at all. I feel like there's kind of an obligation, but I mean, I didn't know her that well. She wasn't in my life.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, if she wasn't, I can see it being weird, because if she wasn't in your life for 90% of your life while she was alive, then at the last little minute she decides to be in your life. I can definitely feel it being awkward, or just feeling like this is very inappropriate. I mean, you weren't here the last 10 years and now you want to be here. It's just I could see that being a fun thing. I mean, not a fun thing, just
yeah, that super fun thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm watching my baby because my wife works every now and then, and she just did something, and I was like, oh, that's a fun thing while I'm talking to you. Remember, I have ADHD, so it definitely kicked in at that moment.
No, but I got you. The sardonic version of that, where it's totally not fun, was totally appropriate.
See, and I'm kind of in that boat with my father. I have a father who kind of just he didn't really abandon me. He just wasn't a good guy, so he just he didn't do anything bad. It's just he just didn't want to be a dad, so he just said, whatever, fuck you. And I have an older brother who lives in Texas, and he did that to my older brother. He just gave him up, and then just kind of gave up on me, and then my grandparents raised me. So it's kind of the same thing. Like, my dad, I've talked to him, I've seen him at family gatherings, but it's just one of those things where if he tried to enter my life, kind of before he dies or something, it would be weird and awkward. I totally understand.
And then there's that weird obligation of you're doing this so you don't feel bad when you die. And acknowledging that, I
Yeah.
don't, that's a weird thing. It's like it's imposing inherently. Like don't put your emotional weight on like, oh, I gotta get this check box off. Get to know my grandson.
Yeah.
Like I'm not your bucket list lady. You know?
Dude, last episode I got deep in the beginning, and now look at you.
Sorry, man. Like,
Hey, that's life. That's what's going on in our lives. I mean, that's is what it is. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, is your mom and dad okay? Like, are your brothers okay?
Dad's not okay. Dad is.
Was this
not...
his? This was his mother.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense.
And further, the rest of his family has basically always sucked. So when Grandpa died, he told his mom, like, look, this has been a shit show for years. After you kick it, I'm not participating anymore. You're the last tether I have to these people, and when you escape the surly bonds of your earthly tether, I'm not dealing with them anymore. And he's dealing with the emotional ramifications of that right now. As well as the fact that his mother died.
Man.
He's not doing okay. And, like, I'm there for my parents. I'm being there. Like, I support them. I supported their efforts to prolong as best they could. I disagree with them. I was straight up like, if she wants out, let her go out. Flat out. But I supported them in what they were doing because they were doing it for themselves and for Dad's siblings as much as they were doing it for her. But this one was like legit. Like she took a tumble and things were not going well. They just kind of went south from there.
All right.
Yeah. So death.
Death.
Mortality. What a great podcast. Let's talk about how everyone dies. Thanks, Alex. Fucking thanks, Alex.
Well, like I said, this is what's going on in your life, and I think that it just brings, for the people that don't know Alex as well as like I may know him or somebody else may know him, it just brings. It just gives an extra layer to your cake. If that makes any sense. That's probably a bad analogy.
No,
but
it's another facet of the fixture, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, because like the people that listen to this, they, like I said, they might not know you well, and they might not know me well. So it's just you don't know. You might have an image in your head of somebody, but then you get to realize, wow, they're going through the same shit that I've gone through, or somebody I know has gone through, and we're all in this world together, and it's just kind of like a surreal moment. So, like I said before, I'm sorry it happened. I feel bad. I feel bad for your parents. I love your parents to death, and I think, I wish I was kind of there to hang out with your parents and just talk to them. So, wish them well for me next time you see them.
Yeah, we'll do. In fact, I'll probably call them after this and let them know.
Sweet. But let's turn this way. And how was your visit with Crystal?
So Crystal was in town for a week, and it was a good time. She didn't stay over here due to the kiddo. She stayed with David the whole time.
Okay.
They had a good time, and it was fun. We hung out a lot.
Yeah.
We smoked, we talked, we hung out. Like, I don't think there were too many beers to be had.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Crystal used to be a roommate of Alex's.
Yeah, so she's like a sister to me now. We address her as my sister. But
she's a pretty cool girl. I met her years ago, but I didn't meet her. You guys lived in an apartment together. Didn't you live in an apartment together?
Yeah, in Bel Air.
Yeah, I didn't meet her then. I met her when you lived in Joppatown in the house with David. And I think Kildoff, right?
Yeah.
Josh Kildoff. Yeah, so that's when I met her. And it was just awesome because I played video games and Magic and all that stuff, and we were just talking about that most of the time.
Nerds being
When
nerds.
Yeah, when I was sober, because that was also a bad time in my life. but but hey, it was good. It was
Addiction gets the best of us. Don't worry about it.
yeah. But that's cool. That's awesome. I'm glad she was in town and stuff. And Wiz, man, I haven't seen John Wisniewski in since his wedding. Actually, it's probably the last time I saw him.
I've seen him 2 or 3 times since then, because they went to Arizona almost immediately following the wedding, and
Well,
oh boy.
yeah. I mean, I moved out to North Carolina. That's where I am right now.
Yep.
And they lived in North Carolina, so I reached out to them. I was like, "Hey, John, Kristen," I was just like, "I'm moving to North Carolina." They're like, "That's awesome, Rob. We're moving to Arizona." I was like, "Oh, well, fuck me. I don't have any." Like, I thought it'd be
Fuck you
cool to
too,
hang out with you.
assholes. Like, Jesus, I didn't want to hang out with you either. Goddamn.
So, but it's kind of funny that you bring this up because one of the things I wanted to talk to you about, and especially because I've known you since 5th grade, is how isn't it crazy we're in our 30s and the friends that we meet throughout our lives, like how they impacted it, but I think it, to me, at least me, I think it's so weird that we meet certain people and they're so important to us, like, oh, you're my best friend, and then 5 years later they're gone.
Yeah.
Like how we just throw that word out like it's everything, or how we just throw things out and I understand friends.
Let's talk about breakups and not being friends with people right after we finish talking about death.
Well, it all goes together. Friendships die. Friendships die. Let's talk about that. I mean, you know how many, I grew up, I had a lot of good friends growing up, and my friendships died over the years. I thought that there's certain friendships I thought would last forever. There's certain friendships I was like, okay, these will be here, but we'll stay in contact, but I don't know if we'll be friends. And then there's friendships where I just can't wait for these fucking to end.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Let's touch on that for a minute. Holy crap! There are some people that people surround themselves with that are just
Oh, I know. And don't be a product of your environment. And they're a product of their environment.
Seriously, it's like the robots. Okay. I'm pushing on some ethical lines.
Well, it's funny because we were talking about how much of an asshole I am, and I kind of want to, I don't know. I'm not going to stir up any pot for anybody that listens to our podcast. But I totally could stir some pots, but it's just stupid stuff. But I grew up with a lot of friends, and I still talk to 95% of the people that I grew up with, and which is great. A lot of people I went to school with, I don't really talk to as much, but I still talk to them. There's a couple of them that got away that I wouldn't say I miss talking to them. I can't remember what happened for me to not talk to them anymore and let my friendship die with them. And it's just crazy. And I know one of them because I think you were friends with him as well. So
I don't know who that is. I'm not going to ask because that'll get dramatic.
Do ask. That'd be awesome.
No. We'll save that for afterwards. That doesn't need to get aired publicly. Believe me, I've got a lot to unpack here too. You're mouthing it. Stop.
Well, no. I was gonna ask you to put a beep over my mouth. I don't know if you can edit that in. That'd be awesome.
Now he's making me do editing.
I will get you a juice in a second. Oh man, having kids are great. But no,
really is,
so a little history real quick for the people that are listening. So like I said, I met Alex in 5th grade. He sat next to me, and I remember my first impression of Alex was this guy would not stop talking. Which is funny now because I think I do 10 times more talking than he ever did. But at the time, he just kept talking to me, and I was like, oh, But then I started talking to him. It was fun. We were in homeroom together through 6th, 7th, I think maybe even 8th grade. I don't know. We were in home.
I can't remember middle school at all.
Oh, middle school. I
I
have to.
remember where it was.
You're coming with me. If it gets dark, I apologize. My baby's on the prowl.
No worries.
Oh,
Staticky video.
Staticky video, no.
What is this? A found footage film? Jesus Christ.
I don't understand. Get out of there.
Yeah, let's keep that theme of death going. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Oh man, I want to say something about Memorial Day, but I just feel like we're gonna jump all over the place.
Oh my God.
But like, no, it's just, yeah. So we've been friends throughout the years. Now there was a time where we didn't really talk so much, and we kind of went our separate ways. Then it was just weird how we became friends again, and then there was a time where we didn't talk again, and now we're here together again. So it just shows you that certain friendships are meant to be, and certain friendships need to die. And that was pretty much what I wanted to say about that.
I've got a lot to unpack there, but our non-existent legal department would have issues if I unpacked any of it.
No, okay, I'll tell you this. I do have an old friend of mine, and I miss him. I haven't talked to him probably since 11th grade of high school. His name is Tomas Diaz.
Oh, I remember Tomas.
Yeah, and you were close to him, and you know, it's just one of those things where I know he's living his dream over there in Nebraska, and he's married and he has kids, which is great. And we stay in touch through Facebook. You know, I say it like that because it's like, do you really stay in touch with people through Facebook?
Yeah, really.
Or is it just, oh, let's pry into their life? Because that's basically what I do. I just creep on people like, oh, they're going over here, and I'm sure they do that to me. So.
Yeah, it's just a publicly accessible database of like highly personal and private information that we share with each other for some reason. Because why is that acceptable? But whatever.
And it's funny. Have you ever ran into somebody like at the mall or at the mall or somewhere, and you're like, I've been friends with them. You know, I've known them since middle school and high school, and we're friends on Facebook. But you don't say nothing, and they don't say nothing.
Because you don't know each other. Because you don't actually know each other in any real way.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all
see
superficial tripe. Like, oh, look at my IG platter that I got from IHOP. Look at this thing I made. And that's it. You don't know anything about their problems.
No, you don't. And I totally agree with you. I feel like you have glimpses of their lives for like 4 or 5 seconds. You see a video, you see a Snapchat, or you see pictures on Instagrams. You see these things, and you're like, oh, they're having so much fun. But God forbid, you know, someone dies in their life, or, you know, you just don't know what's going on. I mean, their boyfriend could beat them. There's so many different things, but it's like you think you pretty much, I have 500 friends on my Facebook account, so I'm friends with every single person on my Facebook. No. I might have met them once in my life. That's probably how they know me. But I don't think I'm friends with them. So,
yeah, they're acquaintances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I bet you anybody's listening, or you, Alex, if you go through your Facebook or go through any social media account that you're on, and you delete everybody that you don't talk to,
I'd be down to 20 people.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd be down with 20 people, because I'm here stuck in North Carolina alone in the dark. And I don't even know. Like, you know, like I have people that like I would talk to more, but you know, I am far away, but I just don't, and it's what it is.
Yeah. Here's the weird one. The person that's been your best friend for your whole life, and like you reconnect and things are weird.
Yeah.
And things are weird. Like
no,
that throws me every time. Because like you had this awesome, cool relationship with this person, and like you guys have gone down totally different tracks, and you're totally different places in your lives. I have no idea how to interact with each other anymore. It's weird because there's all this obligation and weight there, but like it's not based on anything contemporary. Like everything's historical at that point, and it creates these weird obligations and stuff. It's a very bizarre situation, and I find myself in that situation a lot.
You know, I think I've told you this. One of the things that bugs me about like reconnecting with old friends, I feel like certain people get stuck in life. They're just moving forward, and they get stuck. So have you ever hung out with someone and they reminisce? Everybody reminisce. They talk about the old days. Oh, remember when we did this? That's fine.
Alex and I went to 5th grade together.
Yeah.
Shut up, okay? You dumbass. But no, but if that's all they do with you, though, is that really a friendship? Is that really no? That I've told you before, I try to surround myself with my friends that are moving forward because I'm moving forward. I don't want to be stuck where it's like, oh, remember that days in high school?
Oh, the glory days.
Like recently, last time I went to Maryland, I'm not going to say any names, but last time I went to Maryland, I hung out with a certain friend. And I've known him, I wouldn't say all my life, but I've known him for a while. And he's still stuck where he is.
Doing the same thing. Same thing as in high school.
And he was like one of the most outgoing, intelligent men that I've met. One of them, besides you, Alex. I love you. And he's just stuck there. And I actually started to feel bad. I mean, I love talking the stories, but then what's after the stories? Hey, what are you doing? Oh, nothing.
What are you getting into? Like, what's your hustle? What's your side hustle? I play a lot of Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, we're all in our 30s. We should be at least getting to the second stage of our lives if we're not already there. Yeah. And he's still in the pre-K division of his life. Like he hasn't even really. So it's just, it makes you feel sad, but I totally understand. You run into people and it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? And they just want to reminisce, or they just don't want to.
Like, nothing new has happened because they've tried not to move forward. And with a lot of people, you sit down and you talk and you get involved in the situation, and it feels willful. Like they've done it to themselves specifically, but they hate the consequences of it and they're miserable for it. And like, I feel really bad about that, but there's nothing I can do to help them. It's their own journey,
Oh yeah, I agree 100%. Now there are some friendships that I have, like me and yours, for example, that where we don't have to talk for a year, 2 years, 3 years, but we literally, as soon as we start talking, we reminisce, but then we start talking about what's happening next. What are you doing next in your life? And you know, it's just the complete opposite of what's going. Sorry, I'm closing all my blinds right now because I'm a weird person. I don't like sitting on my porch. I don't like people looking at me. I don't know what it is. I like to be sheltered in my house. I don't know. I'm weird. Anyway.
That's really, really, really light case of agoraphobia, Rob.
Probably. I don't know. Like, it's just people down in the South like to sit on their porch or outside or like, I don't know. Grow. I mean, they don't have to be down south. Yeah.
We porch shoot to shit up here in Maryland.
If I had my own property and no one was like looking at me, I'd probably sit outside all the time. But I don't know. I don't know. We'll talk about it another day because I think it all goes back to like my daughter being autistic. It just freaks me out. I don't know. It's just a weird thing.
That is
those
kind
damn
of weird,
fears. Right? Yeah, I know. But we were talking about friends. Yeah, friends. They come and go. I've reconnected recently though with some old friends, and I think it's great talking to them and seeing where their life has gone in the last because it's been how long since we've been out of high school? 12 years, 11 years, 13 years. 05.
No idea. 13.
Yeah. Well, so it's been a while. So I've been I've been talking to him oh, what have you been doing for 13 years? But then it's
nothing.
After that, well, okay.
Yeah. Where does the conversation go from there? What is your hustle? And it's crickets. It's crickets.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that gets said. It's so weird.
Yeah. I mean, and then you start to feel bad for them, and you start to think of like, their situation. And I know I don't have the best life in the world. I know that, I have struggles like everybody else. I have bill collectors call me probably every fucking day. Like, I have people that, like everybody else has these same problems. No one speaks of them, but they have these same problems. But you start to feel bad for that person, even though they're not saying anything bad about their life. But you just feel bad because you can just, as soon as they start, oh, remember when you did this in high school? Like, yeah.
And there's so much undercurrent occurring in the communication that, like, it's all nonverbal, and it communicates like, I'm under all this weight, and I don't know that I'm ever gonna escape it. Oh my God, please help me think of a better time in my life.
Yes.
And it's like, whoa, that's a lot of baggage. Whoa. Hard pass. Thanks anyway. Oh, I want no part of that. Every time.
And honestly, I don't know if you feel this way, but it's kind of like meeting, like going out on dates or like meeting new people. It's very intoxicating because I love meeting new people. To me, it's like one of my favorite things to do. I love introducing myself. I'm very outgoing. I talk to them immediately. I just love meeting new people because I want to know what they did in their lives. Like, I'm so curious. Like, I'm going to tell you something, Alex. I don't want you to judge me. But I love reality shows. And I'm that guy. I get sucked into the Jersey Shore.
There's a lot of judgment going on right now, Rob. What the fuck?
See? This is a podcast of death. My life is over. Because I will be.
You should be into lumberjacking or something, Rob. What the fuck?
Hey, I could be a man's man and still watch the real world. I don't know.
Yeah, a man's man like Liberace.
Hey. He's a man. Well, look at Elton John. I like Elton John.
Elton John's kick-ass. Let nobody disrespect Sir Elton John.
Damn. I don't know why I did that. It's like,
Elton John's still alive, dog.
Well, I like to think that he's in space somewhere right now, just saying that.
Rocket Man. All right, so that full circle brings us to a close on the first episode this week. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Whoa. Time out, real quick.
Whoa.
Day 15 keto, going strong. Woo! Okay, now I'm done.
I flashed a little man nip.
Oh, nice.
I was excited for you.
I can't wait to watch this.
And cut.